A recent problem you'll see spiraling around internet games forums is the epidemic of Larpers. I'm not talking your typical live-action role-playing people here. I think an epidemic of them would be nothing but whimsy and fun. Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! I'm talking people who are pretending to like video games more than they actually do for a reason. And whenever I hear people complaining about this stuff, it reminds me of an old story from a con many, many years ago. This would have been like 2010 when cons were just getting set up in Ireland, and I was browsing the artist alley as I am wanting to do, and I was standing at this girl's table, and this girl had this like beautifully ornate little chest, and in it she had laid out all the different keyblades from Kingdom Hearts. I don't play Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know what the keyblades are called, but she had the Donald Duck dies one. She had that bit in Kingdom Hearts 2 where Goofy says fuck. She had the keyblade for that. She had a keyblade for a little boy living inside another little boy, and then Chip and Dale, the Rescue Rangers, live inside of him or something. She had all the keyblades, is what I'm saying. But I'm looking at her table, and this guy walks up beside me, and this dude had real Reddit mod energy. Like, he had the fedora, he had like kind of like the neck beard, he had like exactly what you kind of think that whatever you are picturing in your head, that is what this dude looked like. And he kind of looks down at the chest of keyblades, and then he looks up at the girl, down at the chest, up at the girl, and he goes, without saying anything else, he just goes, bet you can't name them all. And she kind of looks at him, she's like, what? And he's like, I bet you can't name them all. And she starts going down the list. She's like, okay, this is the scary black cloak keyblade. This is the Southern Hemisphere earthquake keyblade. This is the Bart Simpson keyblade. There's like just all the keyblades. And she's going and going. And there's like 8 of these things. And so she gets to the final one. And then he just goes, nice try. This one, you called it the Oceanic Lisa Simpson keyblade. It's actually the Oceanic Liza Simpson keyblade. And then the coldest silence I have ever experienced hangs in the air, and eventually he just turns around and walks away. When I hear someone use the phrase LARPer now, it's that dude I think of. So I ask you, who is the loser in that scenario? Is it the girl who is so into Kingdom Hearts that she crafted all these little ornate keyblades? Or is it the guy who was like, well, she can't like Kingdom Hearts more than me? And I kind of feel like this description of LARPers as these people who are into games, or just, it doesn't even have to be games, it can just be whatever. The word has spread and been applied to so many different people in so many different contexts that it basically loses all meaning. But I think ultimately what this is something that has been around on the internet since the dawn of its existence, and honestly, long before that. LARPing has become this paintbrush that you can basically take and just like mark across anyone whose opinion on the internet doesn't fully align with yours. And particularly in the scenario of someone liking something you enjoy, but not the particular way you enjoy it. And it's just, I think it's kind of sad. And look, I have been on the internet a long, long time. I was around on the internet reading Bulk and Scud, okay? What's Bulk and Scud? Exactly! And so I've seen this come and go in various forms. Like the fake gamer girl of the early 2000s, which, if I have this right, were a bunch of girls on the internet pretending to like video games so they could get some hot gamer boy ass. Ugh. Ugh. And this logic has like never quite bared out to me. I don't understand why someone would pretend to be into video games for some reason when it's so easy to actually just be into video games. Video games have become the dominant form of pop culture. Video games have played such a larger role in the global events of the world in the last couple of years than film and music and television combined. Financially, socially, culturally, video games are everywhere, and the idea that anyone would be into video games as being like unlikely or a thing that they would have to pretend about, I just don't get it. It doesn't mean that people don't have dumb opinions on video games, but I think that dumbness usually just comes from a sincere, albeit uninformed place, as opposed to gaming being infiltrated by these pod people who are pretending to like Resident Evil for some reason. And over the years, I've watched this same dynamic play out over and over. Undertale fan is excited to play Undertale for the first time. People who wear band t-shirts who don't listen to the band. Or even the whole anime tourist thing recently in the anime scene. This idea that there's a lot of anime people who are experiencing anime for the first time and doing it badly. The philosophy may be best summed up by this dude.
Your opinion on anime isn't valid till you've cleared 500 series. When you cleared 500, when you've seen the breadth and the depth, then you can start to have a valid opinion.
So look, no respect to this dude. What he just said is absolutely fucking insane. That is a crazy person's view on media. And there's a real, sad desperation to it too, because what it means is you don't want to engage on discussions of media except for people who consume it the exact same way you do. And the case of this dude, obsessively. Now look, I have loved anime my whole life, okay? My earliest memories of anime fandom are me digging in bargain bins for VHS copies of Akira, okay? I was watching anime when there was fucking barely anyone in Ireland watching anime, and it was because I loved it that I got into it, and it ultimately became a huge part of me doing what I do now. I have built a section of my career on recommending people anime and discussing it. And so here's what I'll say. One of the most interesting conversations I ever had about anime was with a 12-year-old who had just watched Neon Genesis Evangelion for the first time and never seen a single other anime. And listening to his perspective on it was kind of mind-blowing. And what I didn't do in that conversation was stop him and be like, okay. But have you seen Death and Rebirth? No, you fucking answer me. Have you seen Death and Rebirth? And I didn't do that for a very simple reason. I don't want to be the Kingdom Hearts fedora dude at that con. And I think whatever other differences we as a society have, we should all be putting as much energy as possible into not being that Kingdom Hearts fedora dude. It's just what we need to do. So what I think this really comes back to is gatekeeping. And what gatekeeping has always been about has never been about keeping a particular scene pure or keeping the conversation valid. What it's always been about is the ability to look at someone else and say, that's not a real fan. And by doing so, you imply that you are a real fan. That's always how I've seen it, because in reality, I feel like gatekeeping is a selfish act that always hurts the thing you are trying to gatekeep. When I love something, I want to share it with other people. I want to show them what's great about it. And part of it is just the catharsis of enjoying something with new people, but another part of it as well is I want this thing to grow. Take Void Stranger. I did a video on Void Stranger last year, and I constructed that video in a specific way that I wanted to funnel people into Void Stranger. I didn't just want to explain the game and say, no, you don't have to play it. I wanted to give people a chance to stop watching that video and go play the games themselves, to the point that I'm sure that fucking crashed out the watch time of that video and affected it in bad ways. But I don't even care, because I want people into Void Stranger. Why did I want people into Void Stranger? Because I'm an amazing person. That's not true. It was completely selfish. I want them into Void Stranger so the people who make Void Stranger can make more Void Stranger for me to play. So when you stop being a gatekeeper and start seeing yourself as a kind of Sherpa leading people into new media, it benefits you as well, because now the people who make that media, it becomes more viable for them to keep doing so. And so that's why, sometimes when I do point at something and be like, everyone, this is good, and people complain oh no, you're making it mainstream or whatever, I don't give a fuck, because I want this thing to do well. I want whatever cool thing this is doing to be experienced by as many people as possible, because I want to benefit the creators to the maximum. And I just think this whole fucking LARPing scenario, it is so antithetical to that. So to me, a fake fan is someone who gatekeeps shit they like. Now don't get me wrong, I understand that people are fucking annoying on the internet. I get it. I experience it every day. But what I will say is, whether they're talking about something you enjoy or not, people are just going to be annoying on the internet. That is a forever problem that we are stuck with and will never solve. But this whole made-up epidemic of people pretending to enjoy video games for reasons unknown, I can't help feel that that idea is becoming perpetuated by people who have nothing else to say and just want to foster as much anger and outrage as possible, paint someone else as the outgroup, and then monetize that, which I think is just... It's just kind of sad. I think the people who do that are playing content creation on easy mode, and they're not the real content creators. Bam! Fucking gatekeeping them! But yeah, I feel like we've ended up in this place on a few different videos, but I'm just gonna echo what I always echo here. If a content creator is making a prolonged and repeated attempt to make you angry at some ambiguous group of people, it's probably a really good idea to ask why. Okay, that's it. Till next time.